After Poland and Belarus resolved their border restrictions, Kazakhstan tightened inspections on goods transiting from China to Russia, causing major congestion at multiple border checkpoints, particularly Samara, where tens of thousands of Chinese freight trucks are stranded. Authorities have confiscated sensitive cargo, including DJI Mavic drones, batteries, microchips, and machine tool parts potentially used in Russian military production. Online videos show long lines of trucks stretching for kilometers near the Kazakhstan-Russia border, with some drivers waiting over 30 days. The western transport corridor between China and Russia is severely congested, with clearance times delayed indefinitely. Since mid-September 2025, intensified inspections by Kazakhstan have caused a logistics crisis at key border points, affecting tens of thousands of tons of Chinese exports and resulting in losses of hundreds of millions of dollars for Chinese exporters. On October 2nd, Kommersant reported that thousands of Chinese trucks were delayed due to enhanced customs inspections targeting dual-use goods, items with potential civilian and military applications, and products under Western sanctions such as electronic components, microchips, drones, and machine tool parts. Nearly all such trucks face inspections, with some cargo detained or confiscated. The head of logistics at Russia's YM Trans Group stated that as of early October, 2,000 to 3,000 trucks were delayed at the Mashkatovo checkpoint on the Russia-Kazakhstan border, with around 7,500 trucks stranded across various border crossings. On October 10th, Chinese traders reported in videos that up to 15,000 Chinese trucks were stalled at Kazakhstan-Russia border points. The congestion stems from multiple factors, including geopolitical tensions, stricter customs controls, and temporary checkpoint closures during holidays.
给大家说下萨马拉口岸拥堵的事儿。
Let me break down the mess at the Samara border. It's a real nightmare right now. As of early October 2025, over 15,000 trucks are backed up, a record high that's completely crippled the Western China-Russia logistics route. Goods coming from Xinjiang to Russia are stuck with no end in sight, and it's absolutely crushing cross-border e-commerce, folks. Peak season's here, but shipments are going nowhere, and it's a huge headache. So what's causing this chaos? The big issue is that talks to renew the customs union agreement between Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan fell apart. Kazakhstan pushed for a 15% tariff allocation, but Russia would only budge to 8.2%. No deal, so Russia slammed the brakes on entries at Samara. And it's not just that, other problems are piling up. Poland shut its border with Belarus earlier, forcing more shipments onto the Kazakhstan-Russia route. Then, during China's National Day holiday, border checkpoints closed temporarily. Plus, customs inspections are way stricter now. All this is making the jam even worse. Right now, there's no quick fix in sight. Long term, this could totally shake up China-Russia logistics and transform regional trade. With peak shipping season nearing, logistic costs are projected to rise sharply, and freight rate increases are now certain. This trend is likely to continue until cargo volumes decrease after Christmas. Congestion at the Samara border crossing on Russia's western logistics route has left many Chinese exporters uncertain. Brother Nan, a trader specializing in exports to Russia, recently shared a video addressing the issue.
提前报了，所有的货全都卡在萨马拉了，你去看吧。
The western route is completely blocked. All the cargo is stuck in Samara. You should see it for yourself. The 19-kilometer hub has almost no goods at all. Have you ever heard anyone say the 19-kilometer hub has no stock? Now it's basically empty. Everything is stuck in Samara. We've got about 400,000 RMB worth of goods going through the western route. We've had it sitting there for almost 2 months, and it's almost at the end of the year. Before, the staff never mentioned anything, so I thought the goods had arrived. This afternoon, I went through things with our operations team and asked, why hasn't this batch been put into a warehouse yet? What month is it now? They told me, boss, it hasn't arrived yet. I asked when it was shipped 2 months ago, still stuck in Samara. And it's not just our goods. I asked around, and all other teams' shipments hadn't arrived either. This all happened last month. Everyone was waiting. Nothing arrived. Then I realized it's not just us. Other logistics services like Super Express, 717, 818, all of them are stuck in the same place. Nothing is getting through. Everyone is running out of stock. The 19-kilometer freight yard, located approximately 19 kilometers from central Moscow, is a key hub for China-Russia cross-border logistics. About 80% of Chinese goods entering Russia through informal customs channels are transferred here before distribution to other cities. Once a thriving trade center, the Moscow freight yard has become noticeably quiet. Russia relies heavily on trade with China, which accounts for roughly 42% of its total imports, mainly consumer goods like mobile phones, appliances, and clothing. Some online commentators claim that transport disruptions have left Russian consumers facing shortages of winter clothing and other essentials. Today, October 8th, I came to the 19-kilometer freight hub in Russia. The trucks arriving via the eastern route today were fewer than 20, which is a big drop compared to normal. Usually, the hub handles about 150 trucks a day, so this is only about a tenth of the usual volume. You can really see the difference. There's just not enough goods. People are short on supplies, and some locals are even saying that in winter, they won't be able to get cotton jackets. China-Russia land transport faces a crisis. The western route is congested, and the eastern route faces stricter inspections. The western routes start at Xinjiang's Korgos or Alashanko ports, transiting through Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan to Russia. Primarily road-based, it offers express delivery in 9 to 12 days and standard delivery in 16 to 19 days. Less impacted by winter weather, it provides flexible freight rates and suits time-sensitive goods like electronics and medical equipment. The eastern route begins in China's northeast, passing through Suifenhe or Manzhouli into Russia's far east, including Vladivostok and Khabarovsk, before reaching Moscow. Combining road and rail, it takes 16 to 25 days, with winter delays potentially extending to 25 to 35 days. With the western route halted, many exporters are shifting to the eastern route. Chinese logistics insiders describe the current freight situation as one of the most challenging in recent years. A foreign trade blogger recently posted a video highlighting the current situation in Russia-China logistics. Folks, it's a total disaster. Russia's logistics lines from China, both east and west, are flashing red alerts. On September 24th, Russian customs busted a truck from China carrying 3,000 drones. This isn't just a one-off, it's a wake-up call. The days of the eastern route getting a free pass are done. Inspections are ramping up like never before, especially on electronics and high-tech gear. They're putting everything under a microscope. Most Russian channels have already slammed the door on high-value items like computer parts and tables. Now, flip to the western route, it's no better. Kazakhstan's cracking down hard on trucks heading to Moscow for customs clearance. It's a clear power play against Russia, showing that talks are going nowhere fast. Both sides are digging in, and right now, China's two mainland routes are barely functioning. Recently, the eastern routes, as China's primary direct export channel to Russia, has become a key focus of scrutiny. Overseas users on X report that Russian customs have intensified inspections amid the military's reliance on Chinese electronic components, raising the cargo rejection rate above 30%. Russian media reported that on September 24th, customs in Russia's Far East seized nearly 3,000 drones in a smuggling case, including 2 fixed-wing drones, 2,672 quadcopters, and over 200 related components, most FPV tactical quadcopters. The items were hidden among other goods and declared as consumer products, intended for illegal transport from China to Russia. Despite Russia's urgent need for dual-use items like drones during the Ukraine conflict, these strict checks stem from various complex factors. Observers view the media's prominent coverage as a signal to show the West that Russia isn't fully reliant on Chinese imports and to urge Chinese exporters to declare goods properly. The seized drones were reportedly labeled as toys or daily items. Inspections revealed complete bodies, spare batteries, thermal imaging devices, and controllers with protective films intact. Due to strict Kazakh customs checks, Chinese freight companies are parking trucks in border villages awaiting clearance. Returning goods to China isn't feasible, as producers are complete in Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan, leaving shipments circulating within the Eurasian Economic Union. Drivers report waits over 30 days, with onions in truck beds nearly rotted to mush. The congestion at Kazakhstan-Russia border and along Russia's western corridor poses these potential risks for China-Russia overland routes. First, impact on main corridors. If Russia tightens internal border controls, upgrades customs procedures, or prioritizes road resources, key checkpoints like Manzhouli, Suifenhe, and Heihe may face secondary pressure. Second, added strain on the eastern route. A western blockage could redirect cargo eastward, overloading capacity at Manzhouli, Suifenhe, and similar lines. Third, rising costs and delays. Standoffs lead to higher parking fees, driver expenses, maintenance, and insurance risks, with exports likely absorbing these added burdens. Fourth, heightened credibility and timeliness risks. Customers expect prompt delivery. Delays can erode satisfaction and exporters' reputation. Industry insiders note that Kazakhstan's policies are growing stricter, holding any potentially military-use goods at the border. Backlogged items at the Kazakhstan-Russia border include DJI Mavic drones, batteries, navigation modules, and other products possibly for Russian military use. Some carriers in distress are rerouting via the China-Mongolia-Russia path, which is longer and adds 20 to 30% to costs, yet still risks inspections. Materials needed for Russia's defense industry are effectively blocked, highlighting the dual route bottleneck in China-Russia land transport and exposing its geopolitical vulnerabilities. Kazakhstan, a close ally of Russia in the Eurasian Economic Union and Collective Security Treaty Organization, typically allows free movement of goods. However, concerns over potential EU and US secondary sanctions have led Kazakhstan to avoid informal trade routes. While Kazakhstan claims to enforce stricter custom checks, its actions effectively restrict Russia's supply lines. Observers suggest US influence may be at play, citing recent bilateral agreements between Kazakhstan and the US, which could include provisions limiting trade with Russia. Since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Western nations have imposed stringent sanctions. Despite Kremlin claims that these sanctions are ineffective and Russia's economy and global standing remain intact, the situation suggests otherwise. In 2025, intensifying Western sanctions, Kazakhstan's policy shift, and bottlenecks in China-Russia land transport reveal Russia's deepening economic isolation. Poland's temporary closure of railway crossings with Belarus earlier this year halted the China-Europe Railway Express, stranding over 300 freight trains in Belarus with thousands of containers delayed. On September 25th, Poland reopened the Malashevitz-Brest crossing, dismantled border barriers, and resumed train operations, ending the 13-day closure that began on September 12th. However, Poland indicated potential future closures for security reasons, with lingering effects on regional logistics. Poland's warning of possible future closures due to security concerns continues to disrupt logistics. This has diverted some Chinese cargo to the Kazakhstan-Russia route, worsening congestion at the Samara checkpoint and further straining Russia's supply chain. The closure stemmed from Russian drones entering Polish airspace on September 9th and 10th. Instead of apologizing, Russia and Belarus held Zapad 2025 military exercise on September 12th. Poland cited security threats from the Russia-Belarus exercise as a reason for closing its railway crossings with Belarus, significantly disrupting the China-Europe Railway Express. The China-Europe Railway Express, an international container rail network, links China with Europe and Belt and Road countries. Its northern route via Russia and Belarus to Poland's Malashevitz terminal is a vital trade artery, carrying goods worth over $40 billion in 2024. The European Rail Freight Association reports that 85 to 90% of China-European freight trains pass through or end in Poland, with Malashevitz serving as the primary eastern entry point to the EU. The suspension heavily impacted Chinese exports. Goods typically reaching Europe in a week were stuck in Belarus for over 2 weeks, delaying automotive parts and clothing orders. As supply chains are interconnected, disruptions in one link can affect the entire network. The closure reflects not just border control, but a significant shift in global geopolitical dynamics affecting trade. During China-Poland talks, Polish media repeatedly linked the closure to China's stance on Russia, criticizing Beijing for not pressuring Moscow to de-escalate the Ukraine conflict. This shows the war's geopolitical fallout directly impacting China-Europe trade. Mr. Zhao, a former researcher at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences Institute of European Studies, noted that since 2011, the China-Europe Railway Express has been crucial for China's westbound exports. However, the escalating Russia-Ukraine conflict threatens European security. Russian drones entering Polish airspace in early September sparked strong backlash. Poland's border closure reflects both logistical disruptions and geopolitical tensions affecting trade. Mr. Zhao warned that Baltic states like Lithuania and Latvia may impose similar restrictions, posing further challenges for China. Lithuania and Latvia, aligned with Poland, are highly alerted to Russian and Belarusian military activities. If the Ukraine conflict escalates, these countries may restrict freight routes through Belarus, potentially halting the northern corridor of the China-Europe Railway Express.